Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever been at a family gathering and felt that sudden, icy tension over what a toddler should eat or exactly what time they need to go to sleep, hey, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're unpacking the hidden, structural dynamics behind why parents and grandparents constantly seem to clash over family decisions. We're going to build a completely new, wholesome mental model to understand these moments and hopefully turn all that confusion into clarity. Let's get right into it. So why does just communicate better usually fail? I mean, it's the absolute most common advice given to families in conflict, right? But it has a fatal flaw. Communication helps, absolutely, but it often falls flat because it completely ignores a fundamental reality. We are dealing with two legitimate, overlapping forms of authority trying to operate in the exact same household. It's not just a simple misunderstanding, it's a literal collision of responsibilities.
Section 1. The surface clashes. To really understand this dynamic, we have to shift our perspective away from the surface-level arguments and personal frustrations we so often see.
What we're actually dealing with here is called a structural conflict. It's a disagreement that exists because both sides are trying to solve the very same family problem, but from entirely different positions of responsibility. So the crucial takeaway here is that when a parent and a grandparent lock horns, it isn't usually about generational ego. It's not just pure stubbornness. They're actually just responding to their systemic roles within the family system.
Section 2. The hidden logics. Now that we know the conflict is structural, let's uncover the two completely different forms of logic that power the fierce certainty each side feels during one of these disagreements. Imagine a car where one person is driving and another person is giving directions from the passenger seat. The grandparent in the passenger seat might have incredibly valuable life experience and, honestly, might actually know a better route. But the parent is the driver. They are the ones who have to physically react in real time to potholes, hitting the brakes, navigating through traffic. The driver holds the ultimate burden of the immediate outcomes.
And that brings us to the core logic of the parent. Parents protect accountability. If a child struggles at school or if a sleep routine totally breaks down, the parent is the one who absorbs those immediate consequences. So their resistance to a grandparent's advice isn't about an absolute need for tyrannical control. Not at all. It's a deep, pressing need for daily life to simply stay manageable.
On the flip side, let's look at the grandparents. Think of the family like a tree. The new branch grows quickly, sure, but it still depends heavily on the trunk and roots that have stored up years of strength. Grandparents view the family from a much longer horizon. They aren't just looking at today's convenience, they're looking at decades of repeating patterns.
So while parents protect accountability, grandparents protect continuity. They carry the family memory. They hold on to the values, the customs, and those proven survival habits that kept the household together through hard times in the past. So their involvement isn't simply interference, it's actually a profound stewardship. They're trying to ensure the family remains anchored and unified over time.
Because of these different roles, both sides define risk completely differently. And this brilliantly illustrates why conversations get so incredibly tangled. Look, both are desperately trying to protect the family from danger. But parents, they see danger in inconsistency, overload, and chaos. Grandparents, on the other hand, see danger in discarding proven habits or weakening family unity. They're essentially looking at different vulnerabilities in the exact same house. They keep talking past each other because they are trying to fix totally different cracks in the foundation.
Let's see how this builds a complete neutral picture. When tensions rise, parents are protecting daily functioning, and they fear losing control over the consequences they inevitably have to live with. Grandparents, meanwhile, protect family stability, and they fear losing respect for their hard-earned experience. Honestly, neither side is crazy here. Validating both perspectives equally is the absolute key to unlocking this whole dynamic.
Section 3. How decisions actually happen. Okay, so we've established the hidden logics powering the debate, but how does anything actually get decided? Let's explore the real, unseen mechanics in a multi-generational family.
Family decisions are almost never a clean, democratic vote. They're a complex balancing act between three overlapping forces: authority, closeness, and consequence. A grandparent might have strong authority through respect, but a parent has massive consequence through daily responsibility. The final decision is forged exactly where these pressures overlap and negotiate with each other.
In almost every family decision, an unseen sequence plays out, even if nobody says a single word out loud. A need appears, it gets interpreted through different lenses, a quiet struggle begins, and ultimately, and this is crucial, the family settles to preserve peace. Yeah, families very often choose the path of least resistance, or the least costly peace, rather than the theoretically best option.
Section 4.
Revealing the real hierarchy. Let's uncover how these seemingly small decisions act as a mirror, revealing the family's actual practical power dynamics.
Consider this kitchen metaphor for a second. The daily cook and the longtime cook are both useful, but in entirely different ways. The daily cook knows exactly what ingredients are in the fridge today and what the grocery budget is right now. The longtime cook knows the deeper principles of balancing flavor over decades. Authority gets incredibly tangled when one person knows the immediate, stressful conditions, and the other knows the long-term, foundational principles.
And this leads to a pivotal realization. A family decision is often a small, visible object carrying a much, much larger, invisible meaning. An argument over what kind of snack a toddler has or what time they go to bed is rarely just about the snack or the clock. It's a fight over whose reality gets centered. It exposes who truly holds power, whose experience counts the most, and whose definition of care is leading the family in practice.
This is exactly why a surface-level compromise without true structural clarity is a trap. Parents might technically make the final call, but feel immense social guilt for doing it. Grandparents might back down publicly just to keep the peace, but then apply soft, emotional pressure privately. It creates what's called a wobbling table. I mean, it might stand up right now, but the second stress returns to the house, that unbalanced leg is going to make the whole thing shake all over again.
Section 5. Turning tension into clarity. So, how do we fix the wobble? Let's use this entirely new map to shift away from assigning moral judgment, deciding who is a good or bad family member, and move toward achieving a whole system understanding.
You are now empowered with a brand new set of diagnostic questions. Next time tension flares up, don't react to the emotion. Stop and ask yourself, what is each person actually trying to protect here? Who carries the very real consequences if we get this wrong? Is this argument really about screen time, or is it secretly about the family's balance of power? By actively asking these questions, you easily separate the surface disagreement from the deep underlying duties being protected. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Not every clash needs a winner. Does your family just need a clearer map? When you understand that parents are fiercely guarding accountability and grandparents are lovingly stewarding continuity, all that chaos starts to make sense. It's a system of competing duties. So stop reacting to the volume and start mapping out those overlapping responsibilities. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this structured perspective brings a whole lot more clarity and peace to your family's table. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.